Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lonely Wrist. Today, very special guest, Thilo Mühle from Mühle-Glashütte. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and best regards from Glashütte.
Yeah, I could tell you've got a little cabin in the back. It looks like there's some mountains behind you in the corner, and
It is kind of my office, when we construct our new building. So my office was also new, and I have, the decoration on this wall is like a mountain head. And for me, it's a feeling like the Alps, because I like the Alps. I like to go hiking. And when I close my door, so I can see kind of a hut. And so I feel me very comfortable. So I can spend my power in the company. And for me to see this is a good, warm feeling.
it looks beautiful. I thought for a second there you were on vacation, and I was like, oh
No,
man, we're doing a
everybody
podcast
asks
on
me this.
it.
Everybody asks me this, where you are. I'm in my office, but I can show you, so you can see it now. This is outside of Glashütte,
Oh,
and this is my back wall.
it looks great. And so I heard from a mutual friend that you are quite the adventurous guy. I was heard that you went to Alaska and did like a dog race, and then like you go to Spain and go like scuba diving, and you're an avid bicyclist, and things like that.
Yeah, also of course I do some experience like cycling. I'm a cyclist. Before I was or I was complete mountain biking, but now I also 90% of my sport activity is road bike.
Okay.
And so I do some tours. I did some stupid things. For example, I went one time from Trondheim to Oslo in Norway in one day. So 19 hours, it's 460 kilometers. And the weather in Norway is sometimes not so summertime. So it was a challenging. I did some races here in the Alps, which was very strong for me because I'm not heavy, but I'm heavy for a cyclist, So it was sometimes, a challenge. And my last challenge was a couple of weeks ago. I started with my bike, with my gravel bike, from here, from Glashütte, to go south. And the end, without any destination, At the end, I arrived at Roma, a capital town of Italy. So it
Oh
was
my gosh.
completely 1,500 kilometers during 12 days. And for me, it was a kind to come down a little bit, to open my head, my brain again, to have fresh energy, because the business on time is also challenging, and so you need the power, to handle it. And this is very helpful when you are a couple of days alone with your bike, and you can enjoy the landscape, you can enjoy the ride, you can hate the ride. Everything is included, So it is fantastic. It is boring. It is good weather. It's raining. So every stage has another character, and it was really cool.
What type of bike do you drive? I would assume that it would probably be a BMW motorcycle or.
No, no, I mean, cyclist means road bike. Also means
Oh,
not
okay,
a
bicycle,
bike,
bicycle.
means, yeah, bicycle. Also with my
Ah,
bicycle. Also
got
by
it.
my
Okay,
own power, without gas, with my own power.
that's even more challenging because whenever you said, I mean, again, I'm not a motorcyclist,
Yeah,
bicyclist, like so. I was thinking, oh, cool, like that
yeah.
even
No,
makes
no,
it
no.
more
It
and
was with
more.
my bicycle.
That makes it even more and more impressive. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
Sometimes you can also say I'm stupid, to do this. But for me, it was a good time to have new power for the next couple of months.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. Um, I definitely am glad to have you here. I'm a huge fan of the brand. In case you can't tell, I
Yeah,
got
yeah, I see.
my rescue timer, and congratulations on the new rescue timer, which I thought was quite cool, and kind of jealous that that came out
Yeah.
after I picked this one up, which was but yeah, 30 years of rescue timers, which is
No,
quite an
twen-
epic.
Rescue Timer is 22 years this year, where
Ah,
we introduce it. And we have this year our 30th anniversary after my father started with the company new after the reunification.
Ah, okay, okay. So it was
So we
30 years of the
celebrate,
reunification.
yeah, we celebrate each 5 years a double anniversary. One is when my grandfather started with the business. It was 1869, Robert Mühle. And then when my father started after the reunification, because this was a big step for us as a family company to start again after the communist time here in the former East Germany.
That brings us right to our first question. Tell us about Robert and when he had founded the company in 1869. How has that vision for the brand evolved?
Yeah, you as you see what we produced in this part. Also Robert Müller, when he started, he was producing measurement instruments, at the
Right.
beginning, because the Glashütte watch industry growing up, a lot of small companies founded new here in Glashütte, and everybody was responsible for his own measurement instruments. And then in this time, the people came together and say, what can we do? How can we develop the place here in Glashütte to be a big place for the watch industry? And then they look for somebody who is able to produce measurement instrument, because this is a part was never changed until now. The accuracy on the parts on the movement is the same like 150 or 175 years ago. Today we have another machines, we have another equipment, but at this time they have also the accuracy was the same. And so he said, I do it because at his apprenticeship, he was with Moritz Grossmann. He did his apprenticeship over there. And so he also developed there the measurement instruments. And then he started our family business. And for me, where I'm really proud is at this time, they was able to produce a measurement instrument where you can measure 1,000 still. This is 0.001 millimeter. And you have
Wow.
also to print the scale in this accuracy. And it's for me unbelievable in when you look back in the 19th century that they are able to do this in the beginning of the 19th century. This is like the passion, to develop things for the future, what you can use hundred of years. Also today, you can use it if you want to use it. It is working.
That's crazy. I was in Geneva in January, and of course, I had to go to the Patek Museum. And during the tour, they were talking about the Patek watchmakers made the smallest movement possible. They're like, that was the biggest challenge for them. If they could make the smallest movement possible, then they could pretty much do anything. And that was
Yeah.
like mission one for them. Obviously, they were doing enameling and stuff like that pre, but when you push yourself in terms of engineering, that's where you can really kind of backwards engineer the watches, the movements, the technology. You've got more ability to use that technology and more technical know-how.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, transitioning from those precise measuring instruments, and then you guys did speedometers and
Yes.
rev
In the
counters,
1920s. In the
and
1920s,
then
our our state is Saxony, where we live, and Saxony is a very famous state or place for the car industry. We had, Audi.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you know the meaning of the four rings of Audi.
I do not.
Yeah, it is four different brands before. It was Auto Union, it was DKW, it was Horsch, and it was Wanderer. They came together under the name of Audi. Now Audi is in Bavaria located with the headquarter, but the founder of these four brands was all in Saxony area. And with them together, we developed, for example, speedometers. And today, when you want to buy a Horsch car, you have to pay, I guess, from the cheapest is 300,000 euro to 1 million. So this is a big range because the numbers of cars is very limited, and it's a high end car. So, and for this we developed Wanderer, and you can see sometimes when I was in the Audi Museum in Ingolstadt on the top level, there are the oldest cars, and there was two cars inside, and where I saw was open was a convertible, and there was a clock inside because we also produce clocks with 8-day movements for them. And there was written R, also Robert, R. Mühle and Son, Glashütte. So this is my family, you know. So I was there and I was so proud because a lot of brands in our business, they have a heritage, but they have not the people anymore which founded the company or which are from the family, you know. We are one of really not too many brands where the family is still in the business and run the business. And that's a big difference. And of for this story, I'm so proud when I stay or when I stand in front on the car and I was looking inside and I read the name of my family, you know. So and that it was Audi is a huge company, you know. So and it is a
Yeah.
part of my blood, you know, and this is are the emotions where I also take my power for the business to run the business.
Yeah, that seems like that would leave a great opportunity for you because you guys have produced, watches for them or at least timekeeping instruments.
Yeah,
And like for example, I know for example Mercedes and IWC, like if you look at some of the Mercedes cars, they have a little IWC clock and then that's obviously that would be cool to see a
yeah.
Mule in an Audi
That
again
was
in the
an
future.
idea from Audi when they introduced A6, maybe 15 years ago, like this. But it was not the mechanical anymore; it's electronic. And if you
Sure.
are a supplier of the car industry now, it is very difficult. You discuss about cents for the price, and then if you are not able to deliver on time, you are close your company because when they stop the production for one day and they say you are responsible for this, you have to pay for this, then it's yeah, then I close the company. So for this we didn't agree with them and explain them it's not possible for us because we are a small company and we are not able to handle this, you know. So
Yeah. I mean it would take away from your wristwatch production, which is
it is
you know
another thing. For example, what we do is on time, when you are an employee, which is 40 years, also 40, in with the Audi company, then they get a gift from this company, and it's a watch from us. It's with the four
oh,
rings, and the bottom we are the yeah we have our name on the bottom because they want to give it as an Audi gift to them, made by Mühle-Glashütte.
which watch is it that you guys
It is
use?
a also it's individual watch. Is it not a watch as from our collection? So it is really one watch which only available for Audi.
Wow. So it's not based on like the 29 or anything like that.
No, no, it's a complete own design.
Okay, I need to go get a job at Audi now. Um,
No, you cannot buy it. Then you only get it. You can maybe you can look in the internet and you can give Audi Mühle a watch. Then you find some watches what we did. But this one is only with the four rings on the dial. Then you are on the right one.
tell us about the shift, obviously, from working in these measuring instruments, speedometers. Tell us about the brand as you transitioned into like wristwatches. Like what changed that shift in production into
Yeah.
wristwatches?
Yeah, you see, as a family company with this long heritage, you have all the time up and down, you know. You are on the top and then you are happy, then you are down, then you are crying, you know. And after the World War II, the Russians closed our company because when we produce speedometers for military cars, then you are involved, you know. And so they closed the company. And my grandfather started new in 1945, the company, and then he produced a couple of things what you need after a world war, you know, because there was nothing available here because everything was destroyed. For example, they developed not developed they produce how can I explain it in English? You have a white paper, and for the school, for the pupil in the school, if they want to write the capital letters and the small letters, and they have no lines, you know, so that you have the
Yeah.
dimensions between a capital letter and a small letter, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they developed or they produced. a tooling where you can do on a white paper the line that the people can, the young people can learn to write the right dimensions, for example. And later on, we produced movements to measure the pressure until 1972. In 1972, the government took our company because in the GDR, East Germany, it was not allowed to have your own company anymore. And so my father sometimes now he make the joke. He's 83 now, so he make the joke. He say, at the evening I was capitalist, and in the morning next day I was director on a socialist company. But it was the same company, it was his company, but the government took it over. And then he has a way to the GUB. GUB means Glas oder Uhrenbetrieb, which existing today with the brands Glas Original and Union. And to make it short, after the reunification, my father went out of this company and he started our company new. And at this time, we produced ship chronometers. For this reason, we had nautical instruments in the name. We also time clock systems for cruise shipping, for example, where you have a mother clock and secondary clocks over the ship or over the vessel. And in 1996, he started to produce wristwatches. And the reason why was, Mr. Blümlein, he was one of the founder of Lange and Söhne here in Glashütte after the
Yep.
reunification.
Yep.
He spoke with my father and he said, Mühle, if you can produce marine chronometers, then you have to produce wristwatches here in Glashütte because nobody will ask you, are you able to produce wristwatches if you produce marine chronometers? And then from this point, we started to produce the wristwatches. And I'm here in the company since 2000 now, also 24 years.
Wow.
So this was the reason where we have to shift from measurement instruments, speedometers, to measurement instrument to measure the pressure to the wristwatches. It is
Yeah.
the reason why is the developing on the whole world situation here in the Germany.
Yeah. It's something too. Like obviously, a lot of people don't understand is Glashütte pretty much during World War II was just destroyed. Like almost 85% of the town was just destroyed. And then it
Glashütte,
was also yeah.
no, Glashütte was not destroyed to 85%. That was not there was only, I guess, a couple of buildings which was destroyed, but not too much because it was not so easy because we are in a valley, in a very tight valley. It was not so easy, and it was not really important for the Americans or the Russians or for the British airstrikers to come here. They destroyed Dresden, but Glashütte has only a couple of buildings which was destroyed. But not too much in Glashütte, but the
And
watch
then
industry was more or less
sorry, go ahead.
destroyed. The
And
watch industry was more or less destroyed.
there's always like different sides of history. And then also I read, and this could be inaccurate, but a lot of the factories that were in Glashütte were also used as like prisoner camps as well.
I don't know this. Because also for your listener, if they have the possibility to come to Germany and to Glashütte, we have a really cool museum where you see all the steps. I guess there was not too much prisoner here because there was not big factory buildings. There was smaller one, and we call it in Germany Fensterbank industry. That means behind each window there was a small company before the World War II, for example, which produced some parts for the watch industry, and then you can see it in the museum, the street, the houses existing today, and then they produce this part, they produce this part, they make hands, they make cases, they make balance wheels, like this. This was the typical industry here in Glashütte. It was really small companies, a lot, and they produce parts for the watch industry.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Well, sorry for misspeaking there.
No, no, no,
Um,
no
and
problem.
and, and so obviously, with historical events like wars, the reunification of Germany, how have those? Obviously, we talked about moving from maritime instruments to wristwatches. Um, but other than those significant production changes, has it influenced the brand and the family business in any other direction or any other ways?
Naja, you know, if you run a family company, it was in the past, it is also today. You have
Yeah.
new situations around you. So, and then you can try, or you can look for a solution for idea to go another direction, or to look that you are run the business also in the future. And each time there is a new challenging. It was after the World War II, it was after the reunification, during the GDR East communist time. All these parts, you look what you can do that you survive. And you could also look a little bit back after or when the beginning was of COVID-19. Everybody of us was surprised that that could be happen in our world, and everything was changing like this, like fast, as a really fast. And then also you have to look what it means for my business. How can I run the business? How can I be successful with this situation, that nobody knows what's going on in the next couple of months, and all the governments, all the situation. And then I guess personally, for family, smaller companies, it's a good challenging, because we are fast. We have a really fast decision time, because there is not too much people where you have to ask. You have a small team, and with this team, you look forward. What is your meaning? Then you look what you can do, and then you follow the way. This is yeah. That is, I guess, the life, the normal breeding of a family business or family company.
And that's a huge advantage because when you look at the big boys, right? We'll call them the big boys of watchmaking. The decision time from execution from idea to execution is very 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 long. So like
Yeah,
if they want to implement a change, it's got to go through these different phases. And the fact is, you can say
especially
something.
if you are a group member.
Oh yeah, yep.
Then
And
it's
then
not so easy.
you can say something and say like, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and then take it to
And I
one
do.
developer, like one engineer, and then within a few weeks, maybe a few months, you have a prototype.
Yeah,
Versus having to go through these crazy key holders and
yeah,
stakeholders.
yeah.
But beyond that, um, obviously in the lifetime of the brand, there have been some pretty epic milestones and
Yeah.
turning points in the company's history. Are there any of those milestones that you want to highlight or that you feel particularly proud of?
I'm proud of that we are the oldest family company where the family is really here from Glashütte. Since the 13th century, we are in the area of this, of this city. The area in this past was a little bit bigger than today, but we are in the 13th century here. And on this time, we really the oldest Glashütte people here. They run the watch company. And the milestones, okay, if you have this big changing, like after World War II, after reunification, or the government took the company over, then the reunification, it all in these situations we learned a lot to look forward to find a new business. And back to your question, what is the, let me call it, the red line in our family company life? It is a measurement instrument, a speedometer, and also a worst watch is for me an instrument. An instrument means, in my opinion, it should give you information very clear and very easily to read it. You know, so and that is our. When you look That was the slogan of my father. He said, the first thing what you should see on the Mühle watch is the time. And there's a lot of brands where you need a manual like this thickness to read the time, and this is not our goal, because this is our red line. When you produce measurement instruments and speedometers and all this equipment, then you follow your line to give a really good readability watch. And when you look to our collection in the internet or in the catalog, you can follow this. At the first thing, what you can generally see is the time.
I would agree. And let me tell you a little bit. You probably don't know this, but the way that I was introduced to your brand, of course, I had heard of you. I had seen you. I had seen the reviews. I did. Of course, I'm in the watch industry, right? So, but I went into a local dealer here in Las Vegas, and they were so proud to be selling your watches, which I thought was cool as hell.
Yeah.
And the owner of that jewelry store was like, "Here, take two of these watches home, and let me know what you think." And I was like, this is pretty common. This happens to me all the time. I get a lot of loaner watches, a lot of press watches, and some of them I'll just be like, "Look, I don't even want to like do anything with this." And at the time, I was just I had 20 watches in for press, and I was like, "Oh shit, I have two more now." That's what I was thinking in my mind. So, anyways, I got the rescue timer, and then I got the C Battalion GMT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the two. And the second I got hands on with the rescue timer, like I don't know, it just something changed. It was just you can't everybody sees your watches on the internet, right? But the moment that you get hands on with one of your timepieces was a very special moment for me. I was like, wow, this watch is the definition of a tool watch.
Yes, it is.
Especially the SAR rescue timer, right? So like it doesn't try to be like a beautiful little piece of art or like like this little handcrafted case with the the brushed sides or the like the chamfers or like a beautiful little crown guard. Like it doesn't try to be anything other than
Yeah.
the tool that it is.
If you like, I can you shortly explain how we developed this watch, this our first tool watch, which we had in our collection. It was the SAR, or is on time, still on time, yeah. Is the rescue timer, because it's a really nice story behind. If you are
Yeah,
interested, because
I
we have the search and rescue guys here in Germany. They are organization which is financial only by donations. Not they didn't, as in I know in the US the Coast Guard get the money from the government. Not in our case, they get only the money from donations. And so we was contact them and say, hey, we are a watch company and we look for some special because we are make a tool watch, blah blah blah, like all the time. And then yeah, let us meet and then we will see. And have to know, people in the north part of Germany, they don't speak too much and they're very straight, they say what they think. No politic.
yeah.
Yeah, we have idea, we do for you a GMT watch with this and this, and they told us bullshit. And we so, bullshit. Okay. Listen, when we go out and the ship is shaking, we destroyed our watches, our private watches on the wall or on the railing because the ship is shaking. Okay, understood. We have to do a watch where we have, yeah, really strong or really tough. So for this reason, we said, let us do it with a 4 mm sapphire glass, because this is thick enough. You cannot broken with your human power. So the second one was, when we go out at night, we have not time to look on the dial. What's the time? So we need really fast to read the time. Then we sat with the designer on the dial, say, how can we do this? If you look to your watch, what you wear, you have the three angles on 3, 6, and 9 position, where the target goes to the center. Only 12 o'clock goes up. That means when you look to the old movies, pilot movies, when they say, hey, 3 o'clock is somebody coming, exactly you have to look to the right, 9 o'clock to the left, because our orientation in front of us is 12 o'clock. And so we are very fast in our brain to read it. And for this reason, you can really read at night very fast the time. You have not to look with your eyes after the orientation, where's the hands and like this, you know. And the third thing was when we rescue people, they have on the boat like a small door at the back, you know, where they are on the sea level. That they, when they pack the people to, how say it in English, to
Like
bring it
pull
in
them
the
up.
ship, you know. Yeah, they
Yeah.
pull it up, right? Thank you. Sometimes, you know, they
No
pull it
problem.
up. We cannot have a sharp angle because then we make a cut and we live from donations. And if we rescue the people, but there has a cut like this, you know, it is not a good publicity for us. So we need no sharp angles. And for this reason, also the case, if you look to your watch, there is no sharp angles. You know, everything is a little bit is not soft, but it is not that you can scratch or that you can give insurance to another people. And at the
That
end, the bezel, the rubber bezel, is to protect the complete watch.
that's what I loved about it. Like, so I actually did a YouTube video. Like, there is a YouTube review for this watch,
Yeah,
the SAR Rescue Timer, and that's what I loved about it. It doesn't try and be anything than what it's designed for, you know. And I will say it's not a very like pretty watch, but it is
yeah.
functional, you know.
It's functional, and you couldn't find this design or this kind of watch in any other brands.
Exactly.
And for us, this developing of this watch of the SAR Rescue Timer was the starting point to not to develop in our marketing or in our product development a watch and then we look for famous people with the marketing and say, hey, please show your face with our watch and then we are famous. No, from this point we start to hear to the people what they need. For as you mentioned the C Battalion, for example, C Battalion, it is like here Navy SEALs in the US,
Yep.
yeah, special
Yep.
forces.
Special
And they,
forces.
they told us the first what they told us when we go out, we our equipment we have 45 kilogram to carry with us with all the stuff what they need. And then for me, I said, okay, then you have to have a titanium case
Titanium. Yep.
because it's light, you know. And also
Oh yeah.
with the GMT time, because they are over the world and different places, then they have the local time and they have the home time, for example, or domestic time. And if you look to the, for example, the bezel is a countdown bezel. Because if they, for example, say, call me back in 10 minutes, then you put the 10 of the minute hand and on the triangle, you know, time is gone. You have not to calculate in your head or you have not to concentrate. It's easy to read it. And also for the 24 hours, the triangle, it's open so that you can see the time behind under this hand, not behind,
Yeah.
so under
Yeah.
this hand.
Yeah. The little
And
like.
all these points came together. Local time is white, GMT is yellow. Only that the people have easily to read the time. This is the goal what we learned. So we did some special watches for special units for the submariners. We have only 6 in Germany, or now we get a new one. But so we developed, for example, a watch for them. Only 50 pieces, which was not for the official trade. It was only for these guys from this special submarine forces. And that
Yeah.
is
So,
what I
something.
mean. Hmm? Go ahead.
Oh no. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no. That's what I mean is this was the SAR rescue timer was our starting point to learn here to the people what they need, and then you have a honest product and not a marketing product. Then you have a
Exactly.
product what the people need.
Something too is I don't think I've ever told this story, but anyways, I was wearing this watch and I was walking, and then somehow, some way, like, you know, sometimes like you have the person you're walking next to and they start to, like, you know, like angle you, you know, they start to lean into you. Anyways, my friend did that, and he leaned into me into a way because we were talking, and the next thing there was a like a concrete wall, like a cement brick wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And so anyways, he leaned into me, and I had my watch there. I had my hand by my side. All I hear is Like, oh shit, I just destroyed my watch, your watch. Um,
Yeah.
and then I literally was like, said something. I was like, hold up, like let's stop. And then I looked out at my watch, and it was just grinded. And so then I rubbed it like this because there's some like concrete or whatever,
Yeah.
and there's only one little mark
Yeah.
on it, and I was like, holy shit. And then at the time, I was like, this might be one of the more rugged watches I've ever owned. Because if that happened to my Panerai, right, or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Most people think Panerai watches are tool watches, but not really. But anyways, it just would have been destroyed.
Yeah.
So I've been very happy, and
We
I'm a huge fan.
our passion is to produce watches for people that want to wear the watch, and not to put it in the safe and then, oh, it is a nice day, or today, heute is German. Today is a nice day, and so I take this watch now because sun is shining, and so it's not our goal. We produce watches for people that want to wear the watch, really wear.
Very important.
Yeah.
What point? Let's shift a little bit. Obviously, you're running the brand now. At what point did you realize you were going to take over the Mühle brand?
Yeah, it was. As my father started when he was 53, with the company, and then after we started with the watches, the business ran really in a short time up. Yeah, and he was not able to handle it anymore. And so he asked my brother, my sister, and me, who can. Yeah, I'm the youngest in the family, So, and he asked, I need assistance, and who could imagine that he can come in. And so I was the honest who said, well, I was young, 30 years or 31. And said, well, I can imagine that I can come in. So, and this was the start in 2000. And after 2 3 years, to learn a lot, how is the watch business running, and how is how you run a brand. So I take more and more responsibilities in the company, and since 2007, I'm the alone the CEO of the company, because my father was then pension, but he came 3 times this in a week. He comes to the company for 3 4 hours. Sometimes he makes some factory tours. People like it because he is a guy who can tell you the capital of the GDR. He can tell you when the government took over the company, and he can also give you the information after the reunification. How was the time between this big changing for us, all of us here in East Germany, until the beginning of this. That was yeah, his life, where he can give now a lot of information of people. It is hard to understand for you when you are growing up in a free world, when the government came and say, hey, your company is my company now. You are not responsible anymore. That's crazy to understand for us in a free world. But people are interested in these stories. And so he do some factory tours, and yeah, but he's out
That
of the daily business, of course.
that nationalization process happened to you guys twice, from my
No, only
understanding.
only only one time in 1972.
Okay,
Before, in 1945, it was that the Russian closed the company.
got it.
They
Okay,
deport all the equipment to Russia. Only 10% they let here in Glashütte to for the repair center. They also not stupid. They think, okay, if we have some problems, then we have a repair center here, so we can manage it here in Glashütte. And for this reason,
wow.
my grandfather started new with the business.
And then, I mean, obviously, as a CEO of a watch brand, what would you say is the most challenging part of running the brand currently?
What I learned is you have to find. Also today we call it storytelling, but it's not only storytelling, because watches what we produce, all of us, all the industry, nobody need really this kind of watch, but it is nice to have, you know. and it's a kind of emotion. And for me, the biggest goal is, yeah, the biggest challenging is to give this what you feel of my heart blood now when I talk about my company, to give also these emotions to the end consumer, because that they have a good feeling when they invest the money in a watch, in a product what you never need really to survive, but to have it, and to be happy when you have it. And I have some small in my head, when you time is running so fast, everybody say, oh, time is running and 24 hours, and now we have May. And then if you look to your watch, and I produce a timepiece where you can see how fast your lifetime is running. And for this reason, I say, you have to come down a little bit. You look to your watch and you say, I have a nice watch. And then you come down a little bit for just 1 or 2 seconds. Then you can read the time, and then you can run again. This is so a little bit my passion. And for example, I travel very often. Also, in the US, we do with our dealers, for example, we shows. So I come personally because I have the last name on the brand.
Yeah.
So people say, "Really, you are Mr. Mühle?" Yeah, yes, I'm a family member, and I'm responsible for this and this and this. And people like to have not a salesperson only, or a brand representative. They are interested also in me when I can tell the story, because I'm the story, my family, for the brand.
That
And this
that's
is
so
this is the emotions what I mean.
and that's so important in today's world. Like, you go on Amazon, at least in America, right? You go on Amazon and you order a product and you have no idea behind how that
Yeah.
product came to be, like how it was
Yes.
manufactured, the owner, right? There's no heritage behind it. And I will say, like I said, with kind of going back to my previous story when I first got hands on with your watch, I never ever ever had thought I would own one of your watches. Like it was never on my collecting journey, because I have
Yeah.
a journey of watches I want to get and collect and acquire. And Mühle was a brand I just didn't pay attention to,
Yeah.
because there's like, with the watch industry, there's people screaming at you from all directions.
Yeah.
You got Omega, you got Rolex, you got
Yeah.
Panerai or whatever, right? Like,
If you they all of them make a good marketing. And but as a normal thinking people, all the famous testimonials, you have to pay for him. So you pay it if you buy the
oh yeah,
watch, you pay for them. And we, what all the time when we discuss, for example, or not discuss, if you mention the price range of our watches, people are surprised.
oh yeah,
Why you are so in a so good value, because for me, I not a typical capitalist. I will not to my own position is not to increase our turnover all the time, not our profit. This is not the goal. The goal is to give the people a product with a good price range, with a good quality, with a Glashütte quality. As you know, if you want to use the name of Glashütte, you have to produce 50% on the movement, only on the movement here in Glashütte. For this reason, we developed 20 years ago also our woodpicker regulation, which is the advantage for the people when they wear it, because there's a, let me, not too much technician, but the advantage is you have a second shock resistant system. It's easy, but it is, you can see it at the internet. We fit the hand with the spring on the second position, and if you knock your like this, if you haven't this, it could happen that the hands are moving a little bit and you lose your accuracy. In this case, you can be active and it is more safe for you as a user. So these are parts where we do, and our rotor, we produce plates, and we make blue screws. And when we do factory tours here in Glashütte, there came people and they say, we never could believe that you so deep in the movement, because we are very open with this. We use Celita basic movements. We
yeah.
disassemble completely. We produce we put in or we assemble with our own parts, and then we have our accuracy range is from 0 to plus 8 seconds.
Yep.
So that means also my father, if you are late to an appointment, it's not good. For this reason, we make the adjustment in the plus. So this means from 0 to plus 8 seconds.
I
And you get really, for the money what you spend, a really timepiece which the value is really great for you.
and so let's break that down a little more. So in 2003, it was your father that decided to, to produce this and patent this woodpecker neck regulation system. What drove that innovation? Like, where did he just say, "Hey, look, this is what we have to do
Yeah.
in our cylinder movements"?
It was two parts. It was one of the part were that the people after we the industry started here, because there was two waves. Let me say waves. The beginning was in the early 1990 years. So because there was founded Nomos, it was Lange und Söhne, Klaus Original or Klaus Betrieb, also GUB was running. So, and my father started in 1994. So this was the first four brands which was running here. And there was a second wave. They started around 2000, 2006, And at the beginning, it was easy. You say you're from Glashütte, and collectors was happy, hey, Glashütte watch. And then it was not a sale, it was to gift. But then
Right.
after 2000, people make a decision. What is the difference between Glashütte brands, not with Lange and not with Klaus Original brand, but so another one, which was new, and so you have to find your way. And we, with our heritage, want to give the people a really quality or the high quality watches. And for this reason, and also for the Glashütte rule to use the name of Glashütte, we developed this woodpecker regulation. And it was not to produce a part. I can also put out a plate and I produce it by myself and put it in. It's the same design and is mine, call it Wertschöpfung. We want to give an advantage to the end consumer to say we give you a more, how say it in English? Mehrwert in Germany. I have to run to my to my mobile phone to look it up. How say
That's
it?
great.
If you, how say it? Additional positive part on the movement, that
Yeah,
you
like
can use.
technology.
Technology is the word, but it is for the end consumer. It is more. It's another point for a positive decision to buy a Mühle watch, for example, because another brands they haven't this, and so you can. It is really. Let me just a second. This word. Look it up.
Yeah, it's gonna kill you, huh?
Yeah, it is easy sometimes, but also sometimes is there an English word?
Yeah, yeah. Please.
Sorry for my English, but sometimes overvalue.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, but
okay.
it's the
Yeah, yeah.
overvalue, and that was a kind of overvalue or is a kind of overvalue for the end consumer, and so we have it in all our movements.
Let's um let's talk a little bit more about that. So obviously now you have the woodpecker neck regulator. What is the future? I mean, are you guys working on developing the movement even further, or are you guys planning on anything like that you plan to? Is that a priority to you to overdevelop the movements even further?
We have to do all the time developing because if you don't do it, then you are going up. So with the
Yeah.
with the brand awareness. And what I don't prefer is to produce our own movement. But what can I do with my numbers of watches? What I produce during a year, I can do a freehand movement. Yeah, freehand movements. There are now available a lot. Some copy the ETA movement, some copy this one, and for me, it is not really with these numbers advantage for the end consumer. And another problem is we will jump up in the price range during our small amount or small pieces. Also, yeah, amount of pieces what we produce in the price range, maybe 2,000 more for a freehand watch. And this is, I guess, not our price range anymore. And people will not spend, for example, 3 or 4,000 euros for a Mühle freehand watch with our own movement, more or less. What we want to do is we will spend more attention to the modules that we developed own modules where we can show another function, you know. For example, let me say a big date. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are points where we have the possibility, where we have also the people in house. And this is also a point, was my decision, what we can handle, you know, and also what we can financial. This is all points came together because to develop their own movement, if you don't make only a copy, it is we speak about 3 to 4 million euro for the
Yeah.
developing, production, tooling, and all this, you know. And this is a lot of money. And I know somebody who do this, but they have the money from outside. Then you can do it. But we are unfinalized. We have no shareholders inside. We only family shareholders. So I have to make the decision step by step, you know. And another big point for me is our end consumer and also our retailers have to follow the developing of our brand. If they don't understand the steps, then you lose, you know, the people beside you. Now they are over the top, you know. And also small steps is much more healthier because if you have to go one small step back, nobody will see it. But if you have to jump back, then everybody is crying, say, hey, now they are bankruptcy like this, you know. So for
Right.
me, to run a company like us is make small steps, take your time, and at the end, you will be successful.
I I like the strategy. Obviously a lot of off the shelf calibers, at a Salida, whatever. A lot of people are going through these weird phases where they're kind of giving bad credibility to Salida or bad credibility to
Yeah,
Edda, and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna develop our own in-house. But the problem that I see and I think about as that happens is long term serviceability. You know,
yeah, yeah,
like let's just say, heaven forbid, something happens with, you know,
yeah,
I've got one right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Um, heaven forbid something happens to that brand, and there's no parts, there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
watchmaker. Like,
And especially when you have the retailers over the world, you have to be safe that they can also make the repair, you know. And
exactly.
we work. Also, I know Miguel Garcia since I'm here since 24 years now, and Miguel was the honest who give us independent brands a possibility to enter, you know, because enter decide only complete movements, and then they decide he get or this brand get the movements, this get you not, and you know I'm not independent anymore. So for this reason, I'm complete free of Swatch Group suppliers in each part because for me it's much more safer to have it under my own control, you know. And Miguel and me, we have a friendship, and so we talk about sometimes about the business, you know, how we can do something together. Yeah, this is more. It's not a business. It's a friendship, you know.
Yeah.
And I follow him and I assist him with my small numbers of movements what I buy. But we all the time also very critical because we disassemble the movements and we see something where we can speak with them also in the beginning when he started with his own movement. Maybe that my watchmaker say, oh, there is something. Maybe he has to change this or this, so that we spoke with this technician department, and so that we was a little bit more that they say, ah, we saw this and we changed this, and you know it was also a part of the developing of the quality of the Solita movements until today. What I guess they are in the same quality range like ETA.
I feel like they're superior personally.
Yeah,
There's been some design flaws from my understanding with the ETA movements that Salida has sorted.
yeah,
Kind of like that big step backwards, like you talked about. Like ETA can't do that, you know. But anyways, um, let's talk about the future real quick. We're coming up here, pretty close to an hour. Tell us about the future goals for the brand and how do you see the company evolving within the next decade?
And the first good thing is I have two kids, and they are both in the company now. Yeah, my son is responsible for the whole production part, and my daughter is responsible for the whole sales part. And this is for me a good feeling if you have two kids and both of them say for it was not that I pressure them and say, hey, I do it for you and you have to come in. No, they have different jobs. And then they came and say, no, we could believe that we can be here and to assist you. And now we find a way that they do the daily business, and I have the big goal, not the big possibility to think about strategy, because what I do is to speak with another brands, for example, where we have the same distributions. We have some brands where we have the same distributors over the world. What we can do together, fairs like this, where we can produce because we have the machines, parts for them that they not might have to go to Switzerland, for example. This is a German brand, and I'm looking for this kind of business. What we can do. Generally, we for this, what I want to say, my kids are in the company, so um, this is saved sixth generation. I'm fifth generation. This are the sixth generation, and they are do the business great. And what we do in the future is we will working on our own. What I told you before,
Yeah.
module developing. This for me, it's a big goal because if you have your own module, you have your own dial design from the points,
Yep.
So you have not to
Yeah.
follow the typical what you can get from the production, mass production of Celita or ETA. So this will be a point from us, and also that we follow our rule: less is more. Yeah, and form follow function. This is so our is a typical German thing, okay, but we will not. What I told you also. Um, Create more and more turnover. So we will do small steps. For me, it's very important. I have 65 employees, and I'm not alone, but I'm responsible that they get the work and that they get the money, that they can have also a good life with the families here in the area.
Sure.
And this is what I give them back, that we are a safe company. We do not hierarchy. We do not blow out money for nothing. Each euro which we spend have to be pay on the brand. And this is where we follow. And as you see at the last couple of years, the changing in the distribution of big brands when they go ahead with the retail store, with their own stores, no multi-brand stores more. For us, a new possibility to get in these stores, to give them the possibility to get a partner like us, where you can develop of the next 10 years, where they have also the possibility to do the turnover and the business with us together. This is the opportunity, yeah,
Yeah.
what they can do with us, that we find together a way, because the most of the retailers are family companies too. So the thinking is the same. It's independent if you're in the US or in Europe, it's the same thinking because we have the same problems, we have the same challenges, and we have the same language, in this case. And I could be a part to give them the possibility to do the business if they, for example, lose a big brand when they go ahead with their own retail stores, with the flagship stores. For example, this is so some point where I will working on, because I guess we are a good brand for the people, and especially also the US market is for us a very important market, because the people understand the history, the people understand our design, because this is it's typical German, a little bit clear, not too much things, form follow function, and for this reason, also we our attention for the export business is the US market.
Yeah, yeah. I think you guys are heading in a great direction. Obviously I'm a huge fan of the brand. Um and let's talk, you kind your previous statement kind of opened up a few more questions for me. So who will be the next president of the brand? Will it be your son or daughter, or are you just letting them fight it out, or is it going to be both of
Both,
them?
both. You know why?
Why
You
is
know
that?
why? It's so funny when I explain you, because my daughter, she is 30 now, and when I look to her, she's the same person when I was here new in the company. I came in and said, we have to change this, we have to change this, we have to change this, you know. So it's a lot of energy, and
Yeah,
we have to go forward, you know. And my son, it's now like me today. He is thinking. He don't speak too much, but he is thinking and said, okay, let me think about. And this combination, it's really good that you have one is like this, so go forward, and another one, the another part is let us think about and let us like checkerboard, you know, what happened when I do this, you know, not to
yeah,
run in this direction, then I come back, I run in this direction. So and this is a really cool combination, and sometimes I have to laughing a little bit inside when I see both, because I see in both of my kids my personality when I was younger and now. This is, I guess, it's a good combination to give also this company a new direction, because they are young, they have another thinking, they have another technology access to social media like this. I'm 55 years old, so because I use it, but I will say I don't like it really, you know, because it's too much information which you don't need, you know,
yeah.
and I give them a lot of free hand that they can do and that they can try their own way, so that they also that I'm not the patriarch say no we do it old way, because I have to accept that the young people have another thinking than me. I had another thinking than my father, you know, so I have to change also. I changed a lot of things which my father did before, and I changed it to the way now. He was successful, I was successful until now, and I really believe my kids will be also successful, because they follow their own way, but it is a way in the right direction.
That sounds amazing. I am I'm really happy that it sounds like you're very confident in the next generation and transitioning the company and stepping down at some point and that's the happiest thing for me to hear, you know.
Yeah,
And I like I said, I'm a huge fan of the brand. I love your products. I love your story. Um, I'm definitely coming to Germany
you have
to
to come. Yeah,
see you, to see the factory, and maybe even do another YouTube video. You know,
yeah, of
hope
course. So
hopefully.
you are invited here. I can show, because we are near to Dresden. Dresden is, let me say, one of the third or the three nice cities here in Germany. And a lot we have a lot of tour I guess we have a lot of tourists more than other places in Germany, because this is really a cool city, and we are 30 minutes by car south of Dresden. We have a really cool museum here in Glashütte, and of course we can do a factory tour, we can do a YouTube video. Up to you, you are invited if you come. There is some direct flights from Vegas to Frankfurt. I know with I guess with Eurowings Discovery.
Oh yeah. I have no issues getting there. And yeah, it's just scheduling is very. I just came back from Geneva, and
Yeah,
I did a brigade tour. I did a Panerai tour. I did a few micro brands like Furlan, Mari, Delma, Zenith. Um, and so I'm like still trying to catch up from my January tour because it's just me and one other person. You know, the Lonely Wrist is just
yeah,
two people. You know,
yeah, yeah.
um, so it's particularly challenging, especially when we have three different outlets: the podcast, the YouTube, and the website. It's particularly challenging trying to keep up. I just came back from San Francisco yesterday,
Yeah.
and I wrote up at a watch event with I think there was like 60 or 70 70 brands or something like that. And
It was wind up event,
yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
We
yep.
do it in Chicago and we do it in New York.
I didn't know you guys were participating. It's a fun event. It's a super fun event. I've done Chicago. I've done San Francisco twice. And I think this coming year we're probably gonna do New York. It's just a great opportunity to meet,
Yeah.
with people and to learn about brands
Yes.
and
Also I will be there
Thank.
this October over there.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah.
might see you there. I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. And if you ever find the time to come to Germany, because Closet is really a small village, for you
Yeah.
in the US, you will laughing, because the main city, the inhabitants is 1,700. It's not really much. We have
Oh.
really two streets, one in this direction, like a T, and another in this direction. But you find nine different watch brands here. This is stupid, but it's a
Yeah.
really small place. And if you are don't find the breaks, you are through the full closet, because it's not too much. But in this really small place, you find nine different brands. That's cool.
That is, that's so amazing, and the entire town is just a watchmaking town, and
Yeah,
it seems
it
like
is
from my understanding, everybody that works there is likely involved in the watch
more or less.
industry.
We have around 2,000 employees totally here in Closet in the watch industry.
Wow, that's good. And so some of them are traveling out
Yeah, yeah.
to
Sometimes
come in and
traveling from
work.
Dresden,
And
or from the area of Dresden, it's easy to travel to here to Closet.
yeah. Well, I want to leave on that note. We just reached over an hour. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you
Everybody
very
out there,
much.
everybody out there listening, go out right now and buy a Mula if you haven't already. um,
You, yeah.
because because I say this in all seriousness. I'm a huge fan of the brand, and I'm a really big fan of what you're doing, and just the direction of the company. And the products, the products, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel, and there's very few watches I have in my personal collection over 100 watches.
Oh,
Like there's a lot, right? So every morning I wake up, I'm like, which one of my 100 watches am I gonna wear, right? Um, and there's very few watches that make me feel like special when I wear them. I've got 4 or 5 Rolexes. I don't even know how many. I mean, whatever Panerai, Zenith, and whatever JLC. Like I've got pretty much every watch brand, right? But in all seriousness, there's very few watches that make me feel as special as the SAR Rescue Timer. Um, Again, kind of like if people made it here this far, they know why. Um, but yeah, I mean that, and so I'm definitely coming for
yeah.
sure to Germany, and I'll probably see you in New York as well. So
Thank you very much for the interview and a good time. And hopefully we see us in New York, or when I came next time to Las Vegas. I let you know, so then we can talk a little bit and dinner, have some beer, and to enjoy a little bit live
yeah,
and watches.
yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much for everybody that made it this far. I go ahead and thank you again to our guest Thilo. Thank you so much for the brand, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you very much, and stay all of you healthy, and maybe see you next time in the US, okay, or here in Closet.
Yeah, yeah, for
Bye.
sure. Thank you so much.